that New Haven and your name would be on the end of a lawsuit on this, where people would be using it as a symbol of what's wrong with affirmative action or racial preferences? Or...
The city and the Civil Service Board's actions, I think, have been consistent with what its actions have been in the past and indeed what law is. The decision of this Supreme Court that is different than other Supreme Courts, and now with the nomination of proposed new Associate Justice, has given it more attention. I mean, I think ultimately, for me, I look, and I think most of the city, what's important is look forward to a settling of this matter and proceeding with promotion consistent with the law. It's conceivable the law may change.
I mean, did you ever think, when you were trying to make sure this was a fair promotion and that it was sensitive to Title VII, did you ever think your name would end up in a lawsuit that's being used in the press nationally in all the hearings?
I didn't anticipate this.
I mean, what does that feel like?
This way.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like anything one way or the other. I was at the Yale commencement sitting next to Jose Cabranes, who was also on the same court with Judge Sotomayor, and we acknowledged the case. It's a physical case, and I look forward to it resolving.
I mean, just the way it's being used as a symbol to have people saying maybe we don't need racial preferences in this country, maybe Obama's president, so there's no more work to do on this. Look at Ricci versus DeStefano. TV talk shows, they're going to bring it up in the hearings. All the articles about Sotomayor are bringing up this case. Do you think it's fair? Do you think it's what you guys were up to?
In terms of what it is, I think there's been a long-standing debate about affirmative action in the nation.
I don't know if they're going to look at that.
Since the time of the civil rights legislation going back to the 1950s. I think that's going to continue to be a debate in the nation about balance of rights and responsibilities. The fact that we're involved in this point, I don't find particularly powerful personally, one way or the other. I look forward to...
I mean, every newspaper you open, every TV show, whenever her name comes up, you hear Ricci versus DeStefano, the editorials. I mean, what was the city setting out to try to make sure that we had racial fairness in the fire department? What was your goal?
The city was acting to comply with the law, which is what I believe and firmly believe we have done. This Supreme Court may have some views on what the law now is that are different than in the past. But as with our case on immigration policy and other things that we've done, occasionally New Haven policies have gotten noticed.
And we take a stand. Is this a stand you feel comfortable with? What is it that we're standing for?
You know, I don't feel like on the matter of the promotional in the fire department we were taking a stand. I feel and I remain convinced that we were acting consistent with the laws of the Congress of the United States as they have been interpreted by the judiciary of the United States in a pretty consistent fashion. However, it is clear that the judiciary of 2008 and 9 is evolving in its view of these matters and may change.
So with immigration, we stood for something. We said we think we should have welcoming, that, you know, the federal government's not solving the problem. We should welcome immigrants. They're here. They should be safe. They should be part of the system. Are we saying, if they change the law, if it's interpreted differently now, are you okay with that, or are we saying that we think the law shouldn't change? We're glad about Title VII.
The place to engage changing the law is not in the administration of the test. And again, I feel the administration of the test and then the adjudication of that test by the Civil Service Commission were consistent with law. The place to have that debate, frankly, are in the halls of Congress and in our election cycles where they're set. And so this is a matter of interpretation and the setting of national laws. The city will comply with them. Whether the law, and if the law changes, we will change.
Would you like to see the law change?
I think, in fact, Title VII stands for something that's important, and I realize the election of Barack Obama is a signal threshold in the history of the United States. But I also understand it's not the reality for all.
So you're saying that if a Harvard-educated African American become president, that doesn't necessarily mean that there's not racism in fire departments?
What I think is the purpose of the title stands for something. I think it makes sense, frankly. The federal district court agreed with the city. The federal appeals court agreed with the city. The new majority on the Supreme Court will have a decision to see how it says on this, and we'll see what it is.
So there's not any kind of twinges of disappointment when every day when you see your name in the newspaper or hear it on national TV, it's in context of this case, you wouldn't rather, or in some other context? Or
I mean, it's just a fact, a circumstance right now. That's all it is.